Rangers and Celtic might be heading for another fierce showdown, but this time, it's not on the pitch. The battle is brewing off it in the transfer market, and it involves a name that's been gaining serious traction across Europe. Both Glasgow Giants are looking to reinforce the same position, the left flank, and that puts them on a direct collision course for one of the most talked about young prospects on the continent. The player in question, Watara, a 20-year-old French left back who's currently under contract at AS Monaco. Watara made a dozen appearances in League One last season, but has since fallen down the pecking order in the Principality. That has sparked interest from a long list of clubs, but it's Rangers and Celtic who are leading the charge. The two old firm rivals are not just competing for domestic dominance, they're now chasing the same solution to a glaring hole in their squads. At Ibrox, the urgency is obvious. With Brazilian left-back Jefte's future still up in the air, and Ridvan, Yilmaz likely heading for the exit door, there's a clear need for a natural left-sided defender. Russell Martin has even had to shift Max Aarons, naturally a right-back, to the opposite side just to cover the gap. That's far from ideal, especially with the UEFA Champions League qualifiers in full swing. Reinforcements aren't just a preference right now. They're a necessity, and on the other side of the city, Celtic are dealing with their own shakeup. Greg Taylor, a key figure on the left side of defense, has just made a move to Serie A signing for newly promoted Pio. That departure leaves a void that Celtic are desperate to fill quickly, especially with their European campaign about to get underway. They're also looking at Watara as a possible answer, a player with a technical pedigree and physical profile to slot straight into Brendan Rodgers' system. Now here's where things get really interesting. According to reports in France, both Rangers and Celtic have already made initial inquiries about Watara. Both clubs were apparently hoping to secure a loan deal with an option to buy. But Monaco have shut that door firmly. They want a permanent deal now. No loans, no deferred payments, just a straight transfer, and they've slapped a £13 million price tag on their young fullback. It's a clear message if you want him come with cash. That's a steep fee for any Scottish club, especially considering the financial limitations compared to the English Premier League or some of the bigger sides on the continent. But Rangers and Celtic both know that investing in the right talent, especially one that could be a long-term solution, could pay off in a big way. And Watara might just be worth the gamble. Let's not forget this is a player who's already featured for France at under-23 level, under-21 level, and who's regarded by many scouts as one of the most promising young fullbacks in League One. He's fast, technically sharp, and has a fearless approach to one-on-one defending. On top of that, he's hungry for minutes. Watara wants to play, week in, week out, and he knows that staying at Monaco right now won't guarantee him that. With the club bringing in other options and rotating heavily in pre-season, his pathway to the starting 11 looks increasingly blocked. But here's the twist. Watara is not short of suitors. The race is heating up. Aside from Rangers and Celtic, there's reportedly interest from PSV Eindhoven, Augsburg, Toulouse, Metz, and even Torino, who saw him up close during a recent friendly. Monaco have been using him in their preseason matches, possibly to keep him in the shop window, and he even got on the score sheet in their clash against the Italians. That kind of performance only adds fuel to the fire, and so what we have now is a full-on transfer to Gofwar. Rangers needing a ready-made left-back to balance the squad and support their Champions League ambitions are pushing hard. Celtic eager to replace a key starter and stay competitive both domestically and in Europe are also in the mix. Both clubs know what's at stake. Not just the player, but the bragging rights. Winning this race could be seen as a symbolic victory, a statement of intent in a window that's already been full of movement on both sides. For Rangers, this isn't just about plugging a gap. It's about making a smart strategic move that fits into Russell Martin's long-term vision. Since taking over, Martin has made it clear that he wants his team to be dynamic, aggressive, and technically strong. A player like Watara, who is quick off the mark, confident on the ball, and relentless in transitions, fits that mold perfectly. He's not just a defender. He's a modern fullback capable of influencing the game at both ends of the pitch. But Celtic won't back down easily. Brendan Rodgers has always prioritized fullbacks who can provide width and composure under pressure. Watara ticks those boxes too. And with Champions League group stage football already guaranteed for Celtic, they have a very compelling package to offer. More guaranteed fixtures, bigger stage, and a system that could showcase Watara's strengths to a wider audience. So, now the clock is ticking. Monaco are holding firm. The player is open to a move, and Rangers and Celtic are locked in a high-stakes chess match. Every conversation, every negotiation, every tactical move in the boardroom matters. Because this isn't just about signing a left back, it's about who can move quicker, who can convince the player, and who's willing to take the financial leap. And while all that is unfolding, the action on the pitch continues. Rangers just booked their place in the third qualifying round of the Champions League after a gritty 11 draw away to Panathinaikos. That result, combined with the 2-0 win at Ibrox in the first leg, means they've advanced 31 on aggregate. A massive result for a side still very much under construction. Russell Martin only took the reins a few weeks ago, but already you can see signs of his identity taking shape. After the final whistle in Athens, Martin spoke openly about how proud he was of his players. 5 weeks into the project, and already they're showing resilience, composure, and unity in difficult environments. That match wasn't just a test of tactics, it was a test of mentality. Going away to a hostile stadium, facing a setback, still managing to keep the tie under control speaks volumes about the progress this Rangers squad is making. Now their focus shifts to Victoria Plzen, a team with serious European pedigree. The Czech side just pulled off a dramatic comeback against Servette, losing the first leg 1-0 at home before storming back with a 31 away win. That tie was sealed with an 87th minute penalty, showing the kind of mental toughness that makes them a dangerous opponent. Rangers will host the first leg at Ibrox on August 5th with the return set for the 12th in the Czech Republic. The stakes are massive. A win over Plzen would send Rangers into the playoff round, the final hurdle before the group stage of the Champions League. But even if they fall short their spot in the Europa League group stage is already secured. That's the safety net. Still, everyone at Ibrox knows what the real goal is. They want to be at Europe's top table. They want the Champions League anthem ringing out under the floodlights. And that's exactly why the Watara situation matters so much. To compete at that level, you need depth. You need quality, and you need to win battles, so not just in matches, but in the transfer market. 2. The coming days could be pivotal. Will it be Ibrox or Parkhead that lands the French starlet? Can Rangers convince Monaco to lower their asking price? Can they beat out their fiercest rivals to a player who could define their season? One thing is certain: the old firm rivalry never sleeps. Whether it's on the pitch, in the stands, or now at the negotiation table, Rangers and Celtic are always in competition. And this latest chapter, centered around a talented young left back from France, could end up being one of the most fascinating subplots of the summer. While the chase for Kasemi Watara dominates headlines, it's far from the only storyline swirling around Ibrox right now. Rangers are entering a pivotal stretch in their season. A moment where every decision, every rotation, and every transfer move carries weight. With the Champions League just a couple of ties away, the pressure is intensifying, but so is the sense of belief within the squad. Russell Martin's arrival has sparked something, not just in the dressing room, but among the fans. You can feel it at Ibrox. The energy, the cautious optimism, the sense that something is beginning to take shape. And when you look at the way the team handled themselves over 2 legs against Panathinaikos, there's plenty of reason to be encouraged. This was never going to be an easy test. The Greek giants are seasoned in European competition. Their home ground a cauldron, the kind of place where younger squads crumble and experienced ones falter. Yet Rangers stood tall. Not perfect, but composed. Not dominant, but determined. And that's the key word right now. Determination. It's written all over Martin's. Our project. You saw it when the team conceded the equalizer in Athens. A moment that could have triggered panic, could have shifted the momentum. But instead, the players regrouped. They didn't lose their heads. They didn't abandon the game plan. They stayed compact, they pressed when they needed to, and they protected their lead with maturity beyond what you'd expect from a group still. Gelling. After the final whistle, Martin didn't hesitate to share just how proud he was. 5 weeks into the job, and he's already seen the squad grow into his ideas. Of course, the blueprint isn't complete yet, not even close. But the building blocks are there: intensity, unity, purpose. And with every passing match, the players are beginning to buy into it. The next step is Victoria Plzen, a team known for their ability to frustrate and punish mistakes. Rangers can't afford to underestimate them. Pleasant are tactical, experienced, and ruthless when given space. Their comeback against Servette was the perfect reminder of that. But if Rangers play with the same structure and belief they showed in Greece, they'll give themselves a real shot. And the Ibrox crowd will play their part, no doubt. Under the lights with Champions League football on the line, that stadium becomes a different beast. Beyond the European ties, however, the question of squad depth continues to loom large. That's where the Watara situation becomes even more relevant. Because right now, Rangers are walking a tightrope on the left side. Ridvan's expected departure would leave a massive void, and while Jefte remains on the books, there's still uncertainty around his readiness to step up as a first-choice option. Injuries, rotation form. They all come into play when you're balancing domestic and European campaigns. You need options, and Rangers simply don't have enough on that flank. Max Aarons has filled in admirably, but that's not a long-term solution. He's a right back by trade, and while his versatility is valuable, over-reliance on makeshift solutions tends to catch up with you. That's why Watara is so appealing, not just because of his raw ability, but because he offers clarity. He is a left-footed fullback with pace vision and the kind of defensive timing that can't be taught. You slot him in, and the shape of the backline immediately looks more balanced. That's invaluable in the kind of tight, high-stakes games that define a season. And then there's the bigger picture. Rangers are not just building a squad for this campaign. They're trying to construct a team that can compete across multiple fronts for the long haul. But that means targeting players who can grow, evolve, and deliver over time. Watara fits that mold. He's only 20, already played in Ligue 1 and Ligue 1, and he's hungry to prove himself. That profile matches exactly what Martin and the recruitment team are aiming for. Young, ambitious talent with resale value and the potential to become a pillar in the team. But Celtic know that too, and that's what makes this particular tug of war so compelling. Both clubs are operating under similar pressures to rebuild, to adapt, to push each other at the top of Scottish football, and both know that every signing counts. If Watara chooses one over the other, it could tip the balance in this title race before a ball is even kicked. That's how thin the margins are in a rivalry like this. It's also why timing is crucial. Monaco are not going to wait forever. With other European clubs sniffing around, this won't be a situation that drags on until deadline day. Rangers will need to be decisive. If they believe Watara is the right fit, they'll need to find a way to structure a deal. Maybe an upfront fee with performance-related add-ons, maybe a selling clause to sweeten the pot. Creative solutions, smart negotiation. That's what this moment calls for. And let's be honest, this isn't just about Rangers improving their left-back options. It's about signaling ambition. It's about showing that they're ready to go toe-to-toe with not just Celtic, but with European calibre opposition, that they're not content to settle for second best, that they're building something sustainable and exciting. There's also something to be said about momentum. A few weeks ago, questions were swirling around his Rangers side. New manager, new ideas, multiple players still adapting. There was uncertainty. But fast forward to now and things are beginning to shift. Wins help. So do performances like the one in Athens. They show character. They build trust, both in the dressing room and among the support. But for that momentum to last, it has to be backed up in the market. It has to be supported with action. The squad still needs refining. The right pieces are slowly being put into place, but the work isn't finished. There's promise in midfield dynamism, in attack, and emerging stability at the back. But without genuine depth, especially in the fullback positions, it's hard to navigate the grind of a full season. And that's exactly what the Rangers staff are looking at now, not just the next game, but the next 4 months, the next 10 months. How do you build a squad that can endure the highs and lows of multiple competitions? That's the question hanging over the next few weeks. And while Watara may be just one piece of that puzzle, he represents something bigger, a shift in approach, a bolder vision. A willingness to go after players who can grow into stars rather than waiting to pick up cast-offs or short-term fixes. That's how clubs evolve. That's how Rangers take the next step, not just by reacting to gaps, but by anticipating them. And fans are watching closely. They've seen false dawns before. They've lived through rebuilds that promised the world but delivered little. This time, they want more than words. They want clarity, ambition, and execution. The mood in the stands is hopeful, but it's also guarded. And that's fair. The expectations at Rangers are always sky high. And rightfully so. This is a club with history, with pedigree, and with a fan base that demands excellence. But there's something different in the air this time. Russell Martin might still be early in his tenure, but he speaks with purpose. He's honest, he's detailed, and he's clearly mapped out the kind of team he wants to build. That matters. Players pick up on that. Recruits consider that. And if Watara is paying attention, he'll see a manager who believes in young talent and gives them the platform to shine. That might be the difference maker. Celtic can offer European football too sure, but Rangers can offer opportunity. They can offer a path to minutes, to development, to visibility. And for a player like Watara, who's still carving out his name on the European stage, that might mean more than just a bigger pay packet or a flashier squad. In the end, this decision might come down to football, to where the player sees himself fitting in, to which project feels more genuine, more tailored to his style and goals. And that's where Rangers need to be sharp. Present the vision, show the plan, make the case, not just to Monaco, but to the player himself. The clock is ticking, the competition is heating up, and the old firm rivalry has found a new battleground, one that could shape not just the next few months, but the next few seasons. Because whoever lands Kasemi Watara won't just be adding a talented left back. They'll be making a statement, a declaration of intent, and in a league where every edge matters, that could be priceless. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Bojan Miovski could be on the verge of completing a sensational switch to Rangers in what would be one of the most talked about transfers in recent Scottish football memory. The Macedonian striker, who has been a standout performer for Aberdeen since his arrival, is said to be in advanced discussions over a 2-year contract with the Ibrox club. While no official confirmation has yet been issued by either Rangers or Aberdeen, multiple sources suggest that the deal is all but done. Whispers around Ibrox indicate that the club's board sees Miovski as the ideal forward to bolster their attack ahead of a critical domestic and European campaign. Supporters have taken to social media to express both excitement and skepticism, with many questioning whether the move is a strategic masterstroke or a gamble on a player untested in higher levels of competition. Nonetheless, Miovski's record in the Premiership, with a consistent goal return and a tireless work ethic, has caught the eye of the Rangers scouting department. Rumors are swirling that personal terms have already been agreed upon, and a medical is imminent. If true, the move would signal Rangers' intent to close the gap on Celtic and assert dominance once again in Scottish football. Behind the scenes, it's understood that Rangers manager has been an admirer of Miovski for some time, having reportedly scouted the player during his breakout season with Aberdeen. Talks are believed to have intensified over the past fortnight, with agents and intermediaries working tirelessly to iron out the details. While financial figures remain under wraps, speculation suggests that the deal could involve performance-based incentives and a clause related to European appearances. Some close to the situation suggest that Aberdeen were reluctant to sell to a direct rival, but pressure from the player and the attractiveness of the financial package may have influenced the club's decision. The timing of this potential signing also raises eyebrows, coming just as Rangers prepare for key Champions League qualifiers. Could Miovski be registered in time to make an immediate impact on the European stage? It's a question fans are eagerly asking. Moreover, sources say that the striker has already been spotted in Glasgow, fueling further rumors that a deal is imminent. Should the move materialize, it would be a bold statement of intent from Rangers, who appear determined to leave no stone unturned in their quest for silverware in the coming season. Among fans and pundits alike, the possible arrival of Bojan Miovski is generating fierce debate. Some argue that the Macedonian striker is precisely the kind of clinical finisher Rangers have lacked in recent campaigns, while others question whether he can handle the pressure and expectations that come with playing at Ibrox. It's worth noting that Miovski has shown remarkable consistency in front of goal for Aberdeen, often scoring in high-pressure situations against tough opposition. Those close to the player describe him as humble, focused, and determined to take his career to the next level. There's even talk that Miovski views this potential transfer as a stepping stone to a future move abroad, with sources hinting that clubs from Germany and Italy have also been monitoring his progress. However, the appeal of playing in front of a packed Ibrox and competing in European competitions seems to have swayed his decision. Some insiders suggest that Rangers sporting director has been instrumental in pushing the deal over the line, convincing Miovski that the project at Rangers aligns with his career ambitions. Whether or not the deal is confirmed, one thing is certain: Miovski's name is now firmly entrenched in transfer gossip circles. Should this rumored transfer come to fruition, it would not only be a significant addition to Rangers' attacking options, but also a psychological blow to Aberdeen supporters who have grown to admire and rely on Miovski's contributions. Losing their top scorer to a league rival could potentially derail Aberdeen's momentum and force them into the transfer market late in the window. For Rangers, this acquisition might be part of a broader strategy to build a more dynamic, fluid attacking unit, with Miovski potentially forming a lethal partnership with the likes of Cyril Desires or Danilo. There's even speculation that the coaching staff have already drawn up tactical blueprints incorporating Miovski into various formations, signaling a proactive approach to his integration. Meanwhile, pundits on both sides of the border are watching the situation closely, wondering whether this could mark a turning point in Rangers' recent transfer policy. The club has been criticized in recent years for misfiring signings, and Miovski's potential arrival could represent a shift toward more calculated, performance-based acquisitions. Despite the excitement, fans remain cautiously optimistic, knowing full well how quickly football rumors can unravel or solidify within days. As the days progress and the rumor mill continues to churn, supporters are bracing themselves for an official announcement. Journalists have reportedly been told to stay alert for a press release from Ibrox, possibly within the coming 48 hours. Until then, the speculation only grows louder, with some even suggesting that Miovski has already undergone a secret medical at an undisclosed location. Whether or not these reports hold water remains to be seen, but one cannot deny the buzz currently surrounding the striker's potential switch. If confirmed, the move would reflect a keen desire by Rangers to assemble a squad capable of dethroning Celtic and reasserting dominance in Scottish football. Miovski's arrival would not only bring goals, but also inject fresh energy into a side that has occasionally looked flat in the final third. Of course, questions remain: how will he adapt to the increased scrutiny? Can he replicate his form under the weight of expectation? Only time will tell. For now, the Bojan Miovski to Rangers saga continues to captivate fans and pundits alike, offering a tantalizing glimpse into what could be one of the most intriguing transfer stories of the summer window. Greetings, fans! Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.